Hey everybody, happy Saturday. I'm out here on Emerald Isle Woods Park, taking in some trail walks. Didn't bring my walking sticks though, so I can't take advantage of the more up and down trails today, and it's been raining, so it's a little slippery. But definitely if you want some challenging trails, come on out. There's also a kayak launch. You have a little bit of a hike getting your kayak out there unless you have somebody who can kind of drop you off near there, which is near the handicap parking. But definitely a beautiful scenery if you want to go out on a kayak. I thought I'd talk in this video a little bit about buying land, namely something that I've heard for the last few weeks. We're looking for a piece of property that's unrestricted. Everybody wants, 2 acres, 5 acres, 10 acres or more of land on a budget, of course. And I thought I'd talk about the unrestricted part. Because when people say they want unrestricted, they want to do what they want, they don't want neighbors looking at them, and so on and so forth. Well, there's many layers to restriction, okay? So if you're talking about an HOA that is a group of people who send you letters and your trash can was out too long one day, that's one type of restriction. HOA is kind of the body that controls the neighborhood and enforces the restrictive covenants of that neighborhood. Okay, so restrictive covenants, HOA, go hand in hand. Now, it is possible to have land, and it can be 10-acre parcel land, but at one time it was planned for a community, so somebody created restrictive covenants, but they didn't create a HOA. So you can have restrictions on your land that are not part of an HOA. Just like HOA restrictive covenants, these restrictive covenants are privately enforced. So the county, the city, the state, the police department, they don't enforce these. There would have to be somebody who would say, hey, in those restrictive covenants from 1972, it said that you're not allowed to have a blue trash can, and you have a blue trash can. It would take somebody doing some sort of civil action against you. And I'm not an attorney, so I'm not going to try to tell you what that would be. So we have many places that have those type of restricted covenants, but no HOA. Right. And in that case, it may be a perfect piece of land, and you just need to look at those restricted covenants and maybe speak with an attorney, or just say, hey, are these really that bad? Can I live with them? It seems fine. Another case of restrictions is really more the city, county government zoning. Okay, so you can have no HOA, no restricted covenants, but you have zoning laws. And zoning laws will say, hey, on that 10-acre parcel of land, you can only have one house. You can't subdivide it. Or you can use it for this purpose, but not for that purpose. Now, you can petition to have property rezoned, but that is definitely not an automatic thing. And if you're not familiar with that process, it's probably best to get somebody experienced to help you with that. Now, in this kind of scenario of zoning and looking at that, in our area in eastern North Carolina, kind of in the Onslow, Carteret, Craven, Jones, Pender area, we do have 2 counties that do not have zoning laws outside city limits, and that's Craven and that's Jones County. So those are counties that you're more likely to find land that doesn't have any restrictions. Now, they may have some environmental health restrictions regarding your human waste, what happens with your bathroom product, but those are going to have more opportunities for lands without restriction. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to find them on the market, because a lot of those people that own that land is kind of family land. They've owned it a long time. It doesn't necessarily come on the market a lot. As far as Onslow County, Carteret County, Pender County, they do have zoning outside the city limits. So there are things you can do, things you can't do. But then again, there still are unrestricted, completely unrestricted lands in those counties. You're just not going to have a particularly high concentration of it, at least not like you would in Jones or in Craven counties. So that's just kind of some of the fine points behind making a comment that I don't want restrictions or I don't want an HOA. There's a lot more to it than just simply that little yes or no checkbox on that website that everybody goes to look at. Real estate. You know what I'm talking about. So that's why it's important, to have somebody with you who understands these, who knows how to look these up. who can kind of advise you, and even if need be, start contacting, property owners and see if they'd be willing to sell. So just my 2 cents for today. I'm going to get back to enjoying the trails and the turtles in the pond in the back, and you have a great day.